You show. Welcome to the channel. Ross Korpi, Jack Death. Give him a follow over on Mosh Shinobi. Today, you guys know what's up. We have Sisu, The Road to Revenge. It's a sequel. Once again, I'm going to say make sure you go check out the first movie and give our review of Sisu 1 a spin if you have not seen that. Not too much channel news. We're going to be doing the Crow graphic novel next week, written by James O'Barr. So we're still trying to figure out what's going on with Days of Sodom, but we thought we'd at least get that one going. Sorry about yesterday, guys. I didn't make it to the theater till last night, so I didn't get to screen the film yet. But Gaz saw it as he gave us a brief synopsis on the last show. Trying to think if I'm missing anything here, guys, but yeah, I think so. We'll drop the next month schedule probably next week with the Crow graphic novel show, and not too much beyond that. We're getting into slow season, so we all know how it goes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Any shouts on your end, guys? I know you had a chance to screen The Primitive War, better than Jurassic Waxic Park. So
yeah, quickly shout that out. Mad fast. War movie set in Vietnam. Combat scenes really good. Pretty much after 10 minutes, non-stop action. So if you enjoyed Sisu 1 and Sisu 2, I definitely think you'll like Primitive War. Much better than Jurassic WWII. It's essentially a war movie featuring dinosaurs. I know that's my spoiler alert, but a little bit limited on time today. Highly recommend it. It's only been getting like a 1 week run or a weekend run in some theaters. So if you can catch it on the big screen, highly recommend it. Pretty good soundtrack as well. And yeah, I was impressed with it. Solid film.
Yeah, I think fans of the Turok franchise might be into that. Yeah. So I
did Monster Hunter, all of that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and check that one out, guys. But another film that is mostly action and gets straight to it within generally the first 10 minutes or so, that's going to be Sisu 2. It's got, of course, Jorma Tommila. He is reprising the role of Aatami Korpi from Sisu 1. We've also got Stephen Lang as Igor Dragunov. Once again, directed by Jalmari Helander, written and directed by him, same filmmaker as the creator of 1. We will give synopsis and some genres. 1-person army action war. Synopsis is: a man returns to dismantle his family's house where they were murdered in war to rebuild it elsewhere. When the killer, a Red Army commander, tracks him down, a brutal cross-country pursuit begins. So that pretty much wraps up most of it. Gaz, you can handle that question in the chat.
Yeah, it's an independent film, so it's obviously not got the budget of some of the big major releases, but they're decent enough. It is a good entertaining war movie featuring dinosaurs. I rate it much higher than most of the recent whack that's been released that have had higher budgets.
100%, yeah. Speaking of budget, so I think Sisu 1 only had like a $7 million budget, and it did pretty good. It did get a limited theater run, as Gaz was saying, and I think did make some profit, which is brings us to Sisu Road to Revenge. Since it's new, we're going to try to go non-spoilers, guys. Given most of you haven't seen it, we'll kind of just say what we like and just kind of a general synopsis. I'm going to see if I can find the budget on here, if they even have it on IMDb, because some of these indies
12 reportedly, according to Wiki, $12.2 million US, so okay. A little higher. Yeah,
that's not too bad. Looks like they got a little bit more. IMDb is just not loading. It's all giving me like the load. Rarely does that ever happen, but I guess IMDb, step your game up. Okay, wait. No, it's still it's still loading. So a bit of a here. Let me just drop it and see if I can reload it. Rarely is the day that you try to load stuff on the IMDb app and then it just literally can't do it.
Yeah.
Is it still okay? No. Trivia. Tagline: when they took his family, he took revenge. Details dropped on the 21st. Country of origin: Finland. Filming locations: Estonia. Okay, yeah, they're showing 12 million euro on IMDb. Opening weekend, about 2.4 mil. Gross worldwide, just under 7 mil. So it seems like they grossed about what the first film made. Not bad at all.
Especially considering it had a limited run and a limited push as well. I mean, it's already off the theaters in some places.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think it's slowly dropping off.
Yeah, this is why I'm saying, y'all, if you're into action movies, go support them. They get a 1 week or a 1 weekend run, if that now, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, we covered this with Boy Kills World, and you know what I mean? You guys see we're always kind of promoting the vigilante action. So it's amazing that, like, John Wick does so big when it's essentially like the same as a lot of these other things that we watch, except it's obviously got Keanu and, some of the bigger names. Actors,
I'll say this now, Ross. This is a key thing you take away from Sisu 2. You can tell it's from kind of the same people involved with John Wick. It is like John Wick World War II in a sense.
Right. Lionsgate.
And it's really entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what Wiki has to say, and then we'll kind of we'll do a little bit of plot and try to kind of skip over some of it. So when you're introduced to this Stephen Lang character, he's I guess the difference between this film and the first one is they introduce an enemy from Korpi's past, whereas in the first one he was just a gold miner, and that Nazi Third Reich battalion came across him, and it was just kind of him versus them. It was kind of like an on the spot thing. This one digs a little bit more into Korpi's history, his past, his family, which I think is like a good pivot to differentiate it from one. Going off of Wiki, Road to Revenge. It's a 2024 historical war film written and directed by Jalmari Helander. Sequel to Sisu 1. Jorma Tomila reprises his role as Korpi, with Richard Brake and Stephen Lang joining the cast. So a few more American actors. You guys know Richard Brake from 31, 3 from Hell, and some of the other Rob Zombie stuff. In the sequel, Korpi dismantles his old family house, loads it onto a truck, and is determined to rebuild it somewhere safe in their honor. But the man who killed Korpi's family comes back hell-bent on finishing the job. Kill the legendary ex-soldier by any means necessary. The film was produced by Petri Jokiranta and Mike Goodridge for Sub-Zero Film and Good Chaos, respectively, with Eric Charles overseeing for Sony's Stage 6 films. Unlike the previous film, which was set in Lapland, filming took place in Estonia. We'll definitely talk a little bit about those locations, guys. It was definitely, really high quality backgrounds and settings. There's obviously some CG involved in what goes on here, so it's kind of hard to see what the line is, but blended very well for a limited budget kind of indie movie, which is kind of what we've been saying. It's not unlimited Hollywood budget, guys, but for what they do, I think like they get a lot done. They certainly use every dollar. Sisu Road to Revenge premiered at Fantastic Fest on September 21st. It was released in Finland on October 22nd by SF Film Finland, and in the US on November 21st by Screen Gems through Sony Pictures Releasing. Like its predecessor, the film has received positive reception from critics. So I think we're introduced to 1946, which gives it a little bit different of a flavor. Man, it's been a long time since I saw Doom, but Richard Brake is amazing. He does really good as Doomhead in 31.
Yeah, he's a pretty solid UK actor, and he's pretty good in this, and Stephen Lang is really good as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Stephen Lang really killed it. Although I loved the Reich officers in part one, like I said, it was just kind of like they just ran into each other randomly, so it's not like there was any kind of like beef. But obviously they tried to kill him, take his gold, and shoot his dog. But it's as far as like something deeper that Korpi actually has revenge for. Yeah, I really like Dragunov's introduction. So the film goes back and forth between like the Finnish border pushed by the Soviets and Siberia, where Dragunov is basically locked up in the gulag for like crimes against children, and then he's pulled out to say, hey, Korpi is back, or crossing the border, right? He's trying to get back into Finland, and so essentially the KGB pulls him out to like, hey, you need to go right your wrong, and you created this legend by killing his family. You have to go now fix it, you know, that kind of
be a mess kind of thing. Yeah,
there's almost like a little bit more of like a cat and mouse game in this one of you know, Korpi trying to outsmart the guys being after him and stuff. Plot. 44, Finland has ceded the territory of Karelia to the Soviet Union as part of the peace treaty in the aftermath of World War II. 2 years later, after his gold discovery in Lapland, Finnish ex-commando Aatami Korpi, the man who refuses to die, crosses the border into Karelia, where his family was brutally murdered during the war. He dismantles his house, loads it onto a truck, and is determined to rebuild it somewhere safe in their honor. When the Red Army discovers Atami's arrival on their soil, KGB agents release Igor Dragunov, the man who killed his family, from a prison in Siberia, with the promise of a pardon if he avenges Atami's mass slaughter of Soviet troops in the Winter War. So most of that you can kind of generally figure out from the trailer, because it just essentially shows him, you know, going back to the cabin and taking down the logs, putting them on the truck. So I'll bring you into the mix, guys. But yeah, essentially it's just like a long chase. Like we were kind of comparing, especially that first sequence, to like Road Warrior. It's more like a Road Warrior flair on Sisu, which is awesome if you like Road Warrior and you want to see him, you know, getting that kind of situation. So
yeah, essentially, right. 10-minute build up, then non-stop action, just kind of chase scene after chase scene. I'm not disparaging the movie at all. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to say this now. The first one, I think, has a little more in terms of story. Just has that feel. This one is all out, strap in for the ride. There are moments where, well, there's a lot of moments where you have to eject your brain, especially two particular scenes. But it's part of the entertainment. It's essentially a movie about the most qualified dude in the world. He could make James Bond look unemployable. That's how qualified this guy is. 100%. I mean, his resume must just be never ending, Ross, with what he can do. I mean, again, not complaining, it all adds to the character. Considering, and I'm going to have to pause to pronounce this, considering Yoma Tomilia, probably pronounced that wrong. Considering he really doesn't speak, Ross, at all. I don't think he utters one word, does he?
No, he has a line at the end of the first movie, but none in this movie.
Yeah, so. His facial expressions are good, and what I liked, Ross, is the meeting between the Soviet officer, Burek and Stephen Lang at the beginning. That's good to set the tone. Stephen Lang is fantastic in this. Spoiler alert, I know we're trying to avoid them, but right at the beginning, it kind of sets the tone for this cat and mouse chase. You'll have seen a little bit of this in the trailer, folks, so I don't spoil it too much, but Yoma's sat in the truck, and you know it's coming, Ross, that tension build up. You see the look in his face. I love the way he's looking in the side mirrors, when he's seeing Stephen Lang behind him, and you know this is going to kick off. It's all going to happen, and it doesn't. It's quite hilarious how it does as well, and that's it.
Yeah, the tension, really good. Yeah. I think there's a lot more tension building in this one than there was in the first one, and they did, especially that scene. But close-ups on his eyes, close-ups on his knuckles, because the whole concept of Sisu is this white-knuckled form of courage that you have to dig deep inside your house to yourself to unleash on when you've been put in circumstances greatly against the odds, like a lot like Rambo, but he's a little bit more heavy on the survivalism aspect. But also the other warning bell that things are about to go off is obviously like the dog starts squeaking anytime he tells the dog to go into the prairie. You know that. Spoiler, he has the dog like the whole movie, much like part one. So I'm just added that in for you guys. Just no worries there. Whether it's the third Reich or the commies, Korpi's dog's not going anywhere.
There's three sequences that really stand out about this movie that I think will always live in your mind once you've watched it. And that is, and sorry about this, folks, so skip this part if you want to avoid spoilers. We're trying to keep them as a minimum. The Russian aircraft, the Soviet aircraft following him and what he does. That's legendary.
Yeah, that's in the trailer. It's absolutely awesome. It's ridiculous. Again, this is a eject your brain PRS review. We're not like going for like historical accuracy or physics or science here. Like it's just you saw it on the trailer. It's unrealistic, but it's awesome. That's part of the whole Sisu franchise.
It's kind of like imagine being at the X Games and you kind of set up your own DIY skate ramp to deflect a plane. I'm not kidding. That actually happens, and it's so good. A tank does a stunt at a checkpoint as well, which
that's insane.
When I saw that, Ross, I just laughed out loud. You couldn't do anything else. And as we'll come to, Ross, it's good for the entertaining action, but the tension that builds up, the train sequence at the end, you know what I'm referring to, where he's walking through the train and people.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was so sick. There's a way more stealth Korpi in this movie. Like he doesn't really use much stealth in the first one because it's like it takes place in a desert, so it's all like But I will say the comparison. I feel like there's a lot more hand to hand in one, which that's what I like about one because of the vehicles a la Road Warriors. We were saying it's just more. It's more of a honestly, and I already said it once. It's more of a Road Warrior and even a Fury Road effect, just because it's all truck, and you know what I mean.
Well, especially when spoiler, he's being pursued by the guys on bikes. That could look like a Mad Max movie.
100%.
If you didn't know, I was set in World War II. I was Sisu you're watching, and someone just entered the theater at that point. And you would think you were watching a Mad Max movie. It really looks like one.
That's exactly what I was. That's exactly what I was thinking when. So like the three major like sequences, as guys said. So starts out in the truck chase. Has a little bit of a skirmish where he like does some sniping. I'm just going to go very brief, guys. Give you no details. There's a bit. Lang, aka Dragunov, calls in kind of this biker brigade, and they're kind of like these heavy armored bikers. They have metal helmets and chest armor, so it essentially makes them, for all intents and purposes, bulletproof. Obviously, it's Sisu, so he finds a way around that. I won't go into any detail, but you should know if it's Korpi, them being bulletproof is not going to stop anything. It's maybe just going to prolong it. Then the air fighter sequence, as Gaz said, I think I know that it's at least two that pull up on him, then I think a third one at the end. So it's like 3 or 4 planes. Really well done. There's something I want to relate that to one on that as well. And then the third sequence, Gaz alluded to, it's mostly a stealth sequence, the train. So way different pacing than Sisu 1, and that's what I like about it, because you don't want to just see him do the same thing over now. What I liked in 1 is he uses those gold mining, he has like the panning pan for a shield, and then he has like the pickaxe. He does get the pickaxe a little bit into the mix to give you some flavor from 1, but not nearly as heavy as he went in the first one. One thing, if you guys want to be able to like appreciate this one, I think everybody should go watch it. I gotta assume it's on YouTube, but it's on the special edition Blu-ray. They did this, I think it's called Invincible or Indestructible, something like that. The making of Sisu 1. You can actually see a lot of things they did. I will get back to Road to Revenge, guys, but just to give people an idea of how those. What up, Pixie? Sorry about yesterday. I didn't get to screen the film. I only got there last night, so it's a holiday weekend, guys. It's busy season, but to give people some insight on how they do the plane CGI, guys, when you watch the making of 1, they actually got so that part at the very end when he pickaxes through the bottom of the plane, then he has the hand-to-hand fight with that officer in 1. the way they actually shot that was they got a body of a plane and they hung it in their studio. So when he's on the bottom of the plane, pickaxing through it, they actually had the actor hanging from the bottom of. Now it wasn't flying like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, but it was suspended. It was suspended in front of a green screen, and then from there, that's how they were able to like CGI the sequence, and you'll see in the video on how they edited and stuff. Also, that ending of how he clipped the bomb to that Nazi dude's hand and he got dropped out. He's like, he said "F you" before he exploded. Like, similar thing with that one too. They were able to like CGI the actor. So like, I don't know. I mean, for Sisu 1, like we said, it was barely a $7 million budget, and like I thought the CGI was pretty good. I just say that to say what Gaz said, which is they added to the budget a bit in this one, and then they were able to have more of these aerial dogfight sequences and stuff like that. So my only point is just like, I'm pretty impressed with how far they stretch a dollar, Gaz. Like they added a lot more with the vehicles in this one, which means more CGI, or at the very least more editing. So what up? I'm not sure what DMP is. Looks like Crip Rick just watched Sisu 1 last night or recently. But get down there to Sisu 2, Road to Revenge, Rick, if they're still going to have it in theaters up in Canada.
I think the second one made me appreciate the first, because I think my review would be a little bit differently now. Because do you remember when we were talking about the first one? We'll get back to the second, folks. And I think I mentioned about some of the family connection at the end, using the guns, etc. Like, what the kickback. I kind of had just one little gripe with that. I still enjoyed the movie, though. Obviously, it's always good. But this does make you appreciate the first one as well. I still actually prefer the first one, just for, I think, just the story background. This one is all out action. It is an adrenaline ride, and I really enjoyed it. Especially those sequences with the forest along the coast. What we were alluding to with the planes as well, and then of course the train at the end. Great. Stephen Lang has some incredible moments, especially his scene in the train, Ross, in the final act. I'm skipping a bit fast today, folks, because I'm a little bit pushed on time. But he gets his moment at the end in that final act as well, Ross. I thought that was really well done. It kind of had that kind of... I'm going to say this, Ross. It's got the Mad Max feel to it, definitely, even though this is World War II. But when it moves to the train, it's got that bit of a Western feel, Ross. It's still got kind of like a bit of a Western feel to me as well, which I thought was really good. It kind of added something. As you said, it's not just replicating the first movie. Yes, they amp up the action. And it clearly does right from when it starts, when he's sat in the truck, Ross.
It does.
I just see something flying, folks.
No. There's of course the kills are crazy. Some of the gags, especially with those bikers, absolutely nuts. The stealth on the train, guys, that almost gave me a James Bondian, type of thing, because of course you got this train full of Red Army soldiers, and he's got to navigate around that. With how they wake up as well, Ross. With obviously something dripping in it, just put you on the edge of your seat. Yeah, definitely. So and I know me. We watched, Gaz and I have done the Horror Express and some other kind of like train type movies, even, what's it called? Snowpiercer. But this is just a totally different thing, guys. And I just to counterpoint you guys, I get what you're saying about like the story in 1 versus 2, but like in 2, it really gives, like in 1, it's like he has his gold and they're trying to take it from him. It's the end of the war. What up? All good, JSV. Man, check out Sisu 1 on Blu-ray. Check out it's actually free on Tubi if they didn't take it off yet. Yeah. And Gaz, I know you got work, so if you got a dip, just so you can do your outro.
It's okay. I'll when I've got to go, I'll go. So don't worry. So were you about to say expand this further with the background for his reason for why he took out 300 soldiers of the Red Army? Yeah.
I was actually going to say 2 things. That, and so I think, they say that, like, Korpi is, like, he's, like, a mixture of, like, all the Finnish, like, archetypes of, like, guys that fought in World War II and stuff, or at least, the kind of early special forces badasses. Well, I actually sent this article to Drew Beeson. I think the guy may have actually been a Finn. If I don't know if you've seen this character, you've seen this photo, guys, from this World War II guy. He has a brutally disfigured face because I believe he was shot in the face and left for dead. He did survive the war. He ultimately retired on a ranch, I think, with his dog and his pets. That guy killed 500 Russians. Sniper. I think that's the most possibly in World War II history.
I've seen a documentary about it. Yeah, I know who you're on about.
Yeah. So I gotta assume that he I don't know if you remember, he was a Finn, if I'm not mistaken, or at least from Scandinavia. So I gotta assume that guy is some of the background of Korpi. You know what I mean? Because it's the way they do it in Sisu. It seems unrealistic, but with a sniper, guys. It's not as unrealistic as you think.
There was something done recently, and I haven't seen it for a while, where it was top 5 snipers from World War II. There's documentaries about special forces guy commandos, and you would think it sounds like a Hollywood action movie, but these guys have shot down so many German fighter planes at that time, Ross, and they're on the ground. Yep. The guy just, he's got a anti-aircraft gun, or has actually got a machine gun or whatever, and took out so many fighter planes. And then when you read about these guys, you'd think, it was like that other one we reviewed. Went a bit in comedy tone, but do you remember they were doing all the raids on the Nazi bases in World War II around all the ports, submarine? Yep. It wasn't that bad, actually.
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yeah, that wasn't as bad as everybody says. I mean, it's not brilliant, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I like the combat in that for sure.
Yeah, the combat's good. Okay, folks, we'll get back on Sisu 2.
Yeah, I just wanted the audience to have some understanding that there is somewhat of a historical basis, and it's not just total grindhouse. Now, I mean, hey, we love the grindhouse kills, and they're hilarious, as Gaz said. I'll do one little gag, Gaz, when they first you were talking about that first checkpoint. And they pulled up to the windmill hut there, and they kind of had that standoff. Obviously, Dragunov, Igor, he tells when he shoots out the tire, he tells him don't move, and that obviously see what happened to the guy that moves. So it's definitely some cool kind of standoffs, that are a little bit different to the pacing in Sisu 1, as Gaz was saying, which kind of adds to each moment having that tension before things pop off. Whereas in the first movie, it kind of just gets right into it, and it's kind of just like a nonstop action thing, which Gaz says is definitely there with the chase, the whole chase. Yeah, you got to see the original. They spoilered that on the original trailer. Spoiler alert: the dog lives. So we kind of knew nothing was going to happen to the dog in Road to Revenge. Nothing's going to happen to the dog in this movie. It's Aatami Korpi. No one can F with him. So, it seems like, most of you guys are just catching on to 1, but, Gaz and I definitely recommend that you guys get on to 2 as well. Definitely entertaining watch. I'd have to see it one more time. I don't know if it has as much replay value as 1 had, just because I really liked 1 just because it's something different. Like we said, John Wick's awesome. We love it, but Gaz and I are also big history guys. So to take new school action and put it in an old school backdrop is it's kind of scratches me and Gaz's itch.
Yeah, it does, and that's why I was saying, Ross, remember where when I was letting you know what it was like. I think Pixie's gonna kill me for saying this. They could possibly do a prequel showing you him taking out the 300 Red Army soldiers. Other than that, if they did a sequel set a little bit later, you're stretching it. And the only way, and this is still a stretch, the only way I could see it working is if he was Nazi hunting in East Berlin, someone connected to, who got away something to what happened to his family, or he's either doing a bit of a vacation around the world hunting lost Nazis. That's about
Antarctica base.
Yeah, and that's stretching it. I think that's it. You couldn't do anything more other than maybe showing you exactly what happened for the reason why he took out the 300 Red Army soldiers. I think that's all you can do, Ross.
Yeah, I mean, I love the like post-war Nazi concept. The only problem is it's been done quite a bit now. Like you have The Hunters on Amazon with Al Pacino, and that it's a really awesome grindhouse show that really hammers that concept home, which is really tight. Also, like Wolfenstein Youngblood essentially follows that in an alternate history in Paris. I'd love him to go the whole Wolfenstein route with, you know what I mean, adding, you know, the science of the super soldiers, the hybrids, and the cyborgs to go like a sci-fi realm. But as Gaz said, the later you get in the timeline, like 1940, it's already 1946. If you go to 1947, it's like a lot of that activity is dying down. And also, even though I love where Gaz went with it, he doesn't seem like he really cares about the Nazis like that. They only had that conflict because they tried to take his gold and won, and they were all fleeing the frontier anyway. It seems like his personal beef is more with the Red Army because Dragunov killed his family, and you know that's what set up this revenge.
Yeah, he just wants to get back to settle into a quiet life. I was looking for the softest of reasons on the possible of the Sisu movie, and that's all I could think of, unless it was somehow somebody said to him, "Oh, we need some help in Korea. Do you want to pop over here for a weekend?"
Like Rambo going to get the Vietnam vets like 10 years later, you know what I mean? Like, he'd have to go into some, like, I would take the Antarctica base, you know, do like a sci-fi, like The Thing kind of thing, where there's like, you know, the Nazi base down there with some sort of like, you know, alien or human cyborg virus outbreak. Brought it back on him, Pixie. Stay on him.
It sucks. I don't care. It sucks. You can hit me all around. It sucks. There's more things happen in this than ever would happen in those movies. It sucks. Tarantino sucks. I don't care. His movies suck. He sucks. Django Unchained's the only thing I like done by him. Even Inglourious, which I should like.
I can't believe you didn't like Inglourious Bastards. That is
Tarantino, man, he sucks, man. Anyway,
the Tarantino dialogue, you'll never be free of it unless we'll see how we'll see if Gaz likes The Adventures of Cliff Booth. If we put David Fincher in the director's chair, maybe that will fix the script for Gaz.
Hateful Eight wasn't too bad, I guess. Apart from
Hateful Eight was sick.
Apart from that one scene, which Tarantino seems obsessed with that kind of stuff, I was like, okay, man.
No, he does. He's like, all that dude watches is like 70s movies, so he's obsessed with Grindhouse and just like obsessed with like making the audience uncomfortable, which is what he excels at. What was I going to say? So if you watch the Sisu 1 review with me, Mac, and Gaz, that's kind of what we all said. Like, what we would expect is the prequel, because they keep talking about the Red Army called him the Immortal. He killed 300 units. So we're like, you know, we were expecting to see. So when we found out like there was a sequel and it was going to pick up directly after, it was like, okay, that's interesting. Now they related it to what they said in the first one about that kind of Red Army stuff. But I'd say the breakout characters were like Stephen Lang, Richard Brake. Even though I think they could have used a little bit more of Richard Brake, but he
went off a bit
kind of,
didn't he?
He did kind of what you'd expect him to do if you've seen other films with him. So
it was that time you knew he was kind of checking out, didn't you? It was almost as if it was like, the alarm's gone off. I've got to go now.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing they did with this was like switch up the locations, like Siberia, bounce back and forth between Siberia and the Finnish border. So it showed you more of that post-war kind of map and the front lines, you know what I mean, gave you a little bit more flavor of that. So like the World War II heads, I think, would be into this, even though it's like you're not going to watch some historically accurate war battle movie. You're still going to see the equipment, the trucks, the planes, the tanks, you know what I mean? And I think it's cool.
There's some good scenes in the final act that aren't action scenes, but spoiler alert again, folks. Let me just get this in my head so I can try to say Korpi. So when Korpi's just after he's taken everybody out, Ross, and he comes back to Finnish territory, so she'll say, and he hands over his papers to the two guards. That's also an epic scene, that exchange. And when he's working on his house at the end, and of course people come to help him, that was pretty cool as well. That was kind of like, hey, we've recognized what you've done. Now we're going to kind of help you settle into some sense of normality. So the character just get that. I guess he gets that redemption, Ross, because he gets his piece.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, and that's something it didn't really show in one. He just kind of dropped off the gold at the bank, which I thought was an awesome ending, but it didn't close his character arc any.
Yeah.
Like, you know, still had all this crazy stuff happen to him.
So let me ask you this quick as well. So would you like to see, I would, okay, would you like to see, if it wasn't Sisu, but the team involved doing something else, either set in World War II, First World War, or another era in history, but kind of just get this kind of action movie take in that setting, whatever it is?
Clearly, World War II is their bag. I know, like, Mac is a big, like, World War I fan. It's just with the trench warfare, I'm not always sure that you can get the shots out of it that you can get out of a World War II movie. Saving Private Ryan, Dunkirk, you know what I mean? You always get these kind of, like, Normandy, you know, like, obviously the first shot you get in Saving Private Ryan is Normandy. So it's just going to, not to say that, you know, you could have, you know, Dave Fincher, you could have Ridley Scott, you could have James Cameron, you could have an incredible director make World War I, which obviously Spielberg made Saving Private Ryan. But, I mean, we've talked about it forever. You know, they gave us Overlord, which is close. Like, I think, Gaz, if these guys tackled the Wolfenstein with, like, a badass BJ Blazkowicz, who's, like, similar to newer games.
Dude. Yeah, well, this is why I'm recommending Primitive War, even though it features the dinosaurs. It is grimy, it is grindy, it is a very good movie, very entertaining. As I said, it is just a war movie featuring dinosaurs, much better than Jurassic Park. So with that said about the First World War, Ross, what about then? And I know there's a couple of horror movies and horror action movies that people have recommended and that are kind of on our list to check from that era as well. What if you focused on one guy or small squad that have to go through the trench, go behind enemy lines or something? And I'm just thinking, as you said, regarding World War II, you can get the more wider angle for filming, more shots. Focus on those guys going through the trenches, get the hand-to-hand combat, kind of keep it fast-paced, the moving. You could even use a bit of the, you know, because they're going at night as well in the dark, can't quite see things, hear it. So, like, what about if we got something like that?
100%. I mean, like I said, I didn't say it would be impossible. I just said it would take the right director. Honestly, I would even take Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I think that was Guy Ritchie, right? Or some other guy was his best friend. So I think they could do it. And you got the right score. Of course, there was talk of Predator in World War I, right? With the ideas that he's in the middle of the no man's land and he's going back and forth attacking both trenches. You know what I mean? So of course there was talk of that. Never materialized. So it's possible. But yeah, even like I mean, we talked about the Keep. You know, maybe Molasar is still stuck under there in suspended animation. So if you could have these Sisu guys, they go take on that and kind of give you like another Third Reich thing versus a Supernatural. That's kind of where me and Gaz take it because we're Overlord fanboys. You know what I mean? Going back to what Pixie said about Vietnam. Obviously, I think the Vietnam Grindhouse project is Firebase. Directed by Neil Blomkamp, which is on YouTube, and I think it's on Netflix now. And then he was supposed to extend it into a feature film, but they gave up on they canceled the crowdfunding campaign. Right. So yeah, definitely if you haven't seen that, Pixie, check out Firebase. I think it's free on YouTube. It's an absolutely nuts Vietnam short film. Kind of goes along Predator lines, but a little bit different.
I was just going to say, that's a good link in with Molasar. Maybe they would find out the reason why he's angry is because he's been subjected to Predator Badlands and he's sat down and keep his they still can't make another good Predator movie.
Yeah, no crap, dude. That would be I like what she's saying here. The rock apes in the Vietnam jungles. You know what I mean? I think that's a totally like untouched, IP or untapped potential that they could really blend in. And I'd say Firebase was the closest thing to that. It was a little bit different, but it was definitely crazy.
I
saw Richard Colonel Troutman as a cop at a true crime TV called The Case of the Hillside Stranglers, starring Dennis Farina and Billy Zane in the title roles. I know a little bit about the Hillside Stranglers. That's interesting. Would be cool. Well, I know Gaz is on a sketch, guys, and I know this is like a new movie, so not many of you guys have gotten to the theater yet, but definitely, if you can make it to the theater, check it out. If it comes to streaming, we recommend you check it out on there. So I say we take it straight to our ratings. Feel free to, you're even, if you want to rate one, Rick, if you're in there, if you've seen either of the Sisus. It looks like I gave number 1. It only has a 6.9 on IMDb, which I feel is criminal. I gave it a 9. I was a ridiculous fanboy of it. This one, actually, it's almost approaching 6,000 reviews. It's got a 7.3 out of 10.
Should be
you know me, I'm a Sisu fanboy. I'm giving it an 8. 8 out of 10 for Ross.
Yeah. Real quick before I do then, so what's this had to pick, what's your favorite sequence from the movie, your favorite action sequence? Season 2.
Probably the train, because I feel like that's where he really turned it up. With the dual wielding Tommy guns, I think he turned it up there. So that's probably like what I was, as far as the flavor I was looking for one. But I also want to say the creative ways in which he moved the cabin logs. He had to adapt a couple of them. That was just like the things that they came up with, the way he writes the script. I'm like, that was awesome, because obviously he loses the truck. You're like, well, how the hell is he going to get around that? And he does.
and fire management as well. That was great. There's a good showcase of fire management.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It definitely gets crazy. I think the third act is probably the best. But I'd have to just give it another rewatch, I think, just to like freshen up, make sure I didn't miss anything, and do a full comparison to 1. Obviously, I think 1 is fire.
I'm at the same. I'm either, it could be at 8 or 8.5 either. You've got to eject your brain, folks. So if you're expecting like historical accuracy and it couldn't do that and everything, it's very entertaining. Insane action sequences. I enjoyed it a lot. Literally, if you've got to go to the bathroom or anything, do that in the first 10 minutes and then don't move out the chair. Thoroughly entertaining action movie. Highly recommend it. Great stuff. 8.5, Ross.
Yeah, so we're both right around the same range. And like I said, I could move a little bit if I watch it again, then I notice things that I missed or whatever. But like Gaz said, the kill count, kills on point. Some of the funny gags, they're all there. They're all there from the first one. So you know what I mean. Definitely strap in and lock in. Hopefully, if you guys haven't made it to the theater yet, you can still try to make it before they cut it down totally out. At the very least. You should see it popping up on streaming soon. I think 1 is on Tubi and YouTube. Doesn't look like this one is out quite yet, but I'm sure they'll get it onto streaming and Blu-ray in a couple weeks here. So definitely get that going.
Shout out to Stephen Lang as well, because he was really good in this.
Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, that also, I'll say he filled the void as much as I thought that Nazi officer was awesome in 1. Stephen Lang really filled the void of giving Korpi a very evil antithesis and more of that kind of back and forth, which, like I said, in the first one, it was just like, hey, he's a gold miner. He has the gold. We'll take his gold, try to kill him and his dog. It gave it more of a back and forth in this one where, Igor Dragunov actually killed his family and his immortal enemy, even, brought it up to talk crap to him, to taunt him and stuff like that. The torture scenes, guys. So they switched it up with I'd say his durability was on display in this film more than anything. As Gaz said, the guy literally got put through the grinder. So you're like, how can he take much more damage than that?
What I like as well about Stephen Lang's character is his sense of calmness and awareness, because there's an early scene in the truck at the beginning where he tells one of his soldiers to remain still. I'm really trying to avoid the spoilers. And of course, after that, he just has a simple response of like, I told you not to move, or I told you to stay still, or something like that. He kind of has, and this is, yes, I'm using this to segue to other movies that Stephen Lang's in, just to shout out. And those are Breathe and Don't Breathe 2. I think they're still on Netflix. That's about a blind Navy veteran, if I remember correctly. And that's all I'm going to say. They're quite good movies. But he has the same kind of calm yet menacing demeanor. He's aware of his environment. When he's on the train in the final act, Ross, he hears things before the others do. They're kind of lost in the chatter, and he knows something's coming. So that's when he knows, right, it's time for me to bail. And you get his epic scene as well, which added something because he wasn't. This is why I thought he reminded me of a Western as well in parts, Ross, because he wasn't just going along with his comrades, if you like, following the chain of command. He had his own agenda. He didn't care for them. And it's like, right, now I've got what I want, what is going to set me up. Yeah, I'm avoiding the obvious spoilers here. Okay, I've got my money, so I can eject, take them out. And I kind of like that, Ross, the way that character, he got his moments as well.
100%.
So it was,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, you kind of got her in a way like this dark version of the kind of evil counterpart to Korpi's character, where he was a little bit more, I guess, just strategic. Korpi, that's it, goes into that instinct, kill the machine, take people out, whereas Lang's thinking a little ahead, more of the end game as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, he's more nuanced villain because obviously, as we said, he is a prisoner of war himself by his own country. So to set him back free, hey, you're going to get this revenge and assume, and if I fail the mission, I'm just going to let you guys put me back in the gulag. So obviously, if you're an evil character, you're not, like Gaz said, you're not just going to follow orders and go along with the program. You're going to say, hey, I'm going to get mine and get out if possible. Obviously, he's going to have the obstacle of Korpi, whose family he killed, and taunted him. So, awesome movie. I think, like I said, I could probably still move my rating up a little bit if I watch it. This is fresh. We're fresh off the theater, guys. Yeah. So Gaz just saw it last week. I saw it last night. But I think we both would give it a second watch. And if you haven't seen Sisu 1, check it out. And, plenty of replayability there. The Thing expanded, guys. The doc is still coming. And I know they post a lot of stuff on, I think it's the Creator VC YouTube, where they have interviews with the cast and crew. So if you're big into The Thing, check that out. I'll update you guys once we get a release date here, get closer to one. Next week, we're going to do The Crow by James O'Barr. We're going to bring back the graphic novel series because it's been like a while since we've done. I know you guys are more familiar with probably the TV and the movie review series, but in addition to PRS, we do a graphic novel series as well. The PG version of Sisu Road to Revenge, Polar Express. If you want to get your train fixed with no action, hit that up. And then I think the next one after that was possibly Heat. That was for our boy Jay West. He's a heister. So then we got Heat, and then I don't know. We're still figuring out that next week, guys. I might actually just do a Zodiac show, and then we'll just skip that week for PRS, and then we'll that way I don't have to do double duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all good, man.
And then after that, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we'll be finishing up the westerns. I've only seen one clip of Kung Fu Panda on YouTube.
I think that's enough. Anybody needs to see that.
Didn't need to go any more than that. But guys, that's it. Ross Korpi, Jack Death. Check him out at Mosh Shinobi. Check out Rick's channel. Subscribe. Shout out to Pixie for holding us down in the chat with the links, and everybody else who came through. Like, sub, share, click the join button to get a membership, and join us next time. We're going to do The Crow, James O'Barr. That's Sisu 2 or Sisu Road to Revenge. Definitely give it a spin if you didn't make it to the theater. Definitely catch it when it comes out on VOD or rental, however you guys watch that stuff. And check out the Patreon, of course. Feel free to join us next week. And check out Sisu 1 and 2. Both are sick. I have the Blu-ray of 1. And like I said, if you want to see how these types of movies are made, that little mini doc making of that they did has a lot of insight onto how they did After Effects and CGI. I'll go on this parting note, guys. When they showed the city, which I believe might have been the capital of Finland. Sorry if I butchered that, to the crew of Sisu. And they had those like bombed out buildings. The way they reconstructed those guys was they actually took historically accurate photographs, and then they tried to recreate the actual damage on the building. So that one, yes, when they showed that in Sisu 1, they actually tried to stay in, like, these are the actual buildings. This is what they looked like in 45, 46. And create the same damage that was created in the actual historical photographs. So I know it's easy to watch this type of thing and just say, okay, this kind of one-man army kind of, John Wick God modes through World War II, but there's a lot of nuanced detail in the background and the settings to how these guys went about building the universe. So I think hey, Gaz and I love the kills. We're the first ones to admit it. Like we said, we love the grindhouse, ultraviolet, over-the-top slapstick humor, if you will put that in a one-person army movie. But there's more nuance there as well, guys, for the historical accuracy. So my patron, go join free with Gmail. Got our boy Mashinobi. Go join him. By the way, Gaz and I will have beat 'em up streams coming back soon. Marvel Cosmic Invasion drops tomorrow, so we'll be looking to get that on, as well as I think, Gaz, you might have picked up some of the ninja stuff. Great stuff. Appreciate you, Pixie, as always. Enjoy your weekend.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Go subscribe to Crippy Ricky.
Yeah, shout to Rick. Thanks for coming through to support, man. Much love. That's much appreciated, and look forward to doing a show with you again sometime too.
Yeah, man. Next time, let me know whatever you like. If you see something on the schedule, Ricky, and then just ping me on the PM. But yeah, guys, that's it. Sisu 1, Sisu 2, go check them out. Hopefully they don't take it out of theaters too soon, as they always do. And join us next week for The Crow, James O'Barr. We're going to do a graphic novel. And then last two PRS reviews for the year. Heat, the legendary heist film, and Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Gaz and I will finally finish that Man with No Name Dollars trilogy. So peace out. Shout out to everybody who came through. Like, sub, share, click join for a membership, and you can subscribe over at Gazzy. Sisu, Road to Revenge. We're out. Catch us next week
y'all.
For The Crow.